Welcome to the Pontificated. This week we're debunking the root chakra. Hi, I'm Rain, your host for this week's episode. Usui Reiki master, energy healer, acupressurist, and overall occult enthusiast. This is the place where we bridge the gap between science and spirituality, mind, body, and soul. We're looking at the root chakra in an entire new way. So when we think about the root chakra, or we learn about the chakra system in general, people tend to gravitate towards activating the third eye. Once you activate the third eye, you're in now a 5-dimensional or higher level of consciousness, right? So you're viewing things very differently than what you've been taught to believe in our society, levels above where our body is physically conscious at. When this happens, it's like a misfire, because you can't even start the Kundalini process when you've still got distortion in all of the other chakras. So it can produce symptoms of a spiritual psychosis. As you work through the energy centers and you become more balanced, you're able to actually use those psychic abilities and gifts to your advantage without letting those things overrun you. Because a lot of times when we have our spiritual awakening, we're so hungry and thirsty for knowledge that we just want to activate that and forget that this is a whole system that intricately works together. Root chakra, most of the keywords that you're going to hear refer to grounding and stability, survival instincts. But the root chakra is so much more than that. So some key terms that I like to just pop in there are loyalty, vitality, prosperity, and tenacity. Career success. Very non-talked about connections with the root chakra are the ruler of your past lives as well as your ancestral relationship. So energy can't be created or destroyed, and epigenetics has proved that we carry several lineages worth of DNA within our own DNA. This is multiple lineages that have been distorted, that are carrying karma, that are carrying these burdens and baggage. We're also affecting our today by that. So what I mean, say you have a plant and your plant is not growing. You have to take that potted plant and you're pulling it up from its stability, and you're taking a look at what's been buried underneath. So this will be the ancestral relationships. These are the things that your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, lineages before us had to deal with. It's their karma. So when we talk about the root chakra, it's very much connected to the ancestral roots, especially of your lineage. And now we have science to back us up with the epigenetics. The root chakra is our energetic foundation. It is our actual support for the mind and the body. The root chakra is associated with our survival mode. So when we hear the word dysregulated nervous system starts in the root chakra, it triggers a signal when you hit a survival mode. So something that scares you, that triggers very dense, low vibrational energy. So fear, greed, anger, jealousy, resentment, spitefulness, all of these things trigger the amount of cortisol that is released from the adrenals, which then sends the signal to your entire nervous system to dysregulate. When we're in survival mode, we aren't able to create. We have no additional extra energy for our creative endeavors. Most of us are not taught how to balance our energy centers, much less how to handle the emotional driven charge that surges through the physical body, i.e. it starts in the root chakra with that nervous system. So as soon as you are triggered, the body starts releasing cortisol from the adrenal glands. From there, the cortisol rushes through the body. And so over time, if you're exposed to different environments, you can become addicted to your own cortisol highs, i.e., people who quote unquote love toxicity. So you can quite literally become addicted to your own pain and suffering. The root chakra governs many parts of our physical body, including the skeletal system, the autoimmune system, your nervous system, your sciatic nerve, your teeth, your bowels, your legs, your feet, and your knees. So if you think about on the physical body and you're at your spine, the last vertebrae all the way around and down is considered the root chakra area. Now this energy center moves out of the physical body up the etheric layer of the auric field, which is the closest to the body between 2 and 4 inches out. A variety of traumas can cause imbalances, especially at a young age. We have to remember from 0 to 7, we live in a theta wave state. So we're literally like in a dreamlike trance where we're constantly being programmed. We're just watching, observing, and then that becomes our subconscious actions. So if you've grown up in a house with abuse, if you've grown up in a house with emotional, physical, any type of neglect, you likely are going to have to reparent yourself through the balancing of the root chakra. But truly, anytime we are faced with a trigger that sends our nervous system into a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response, we have an imbalance in our root system. The goal is to become untriggerable, unfuckwithable, to remain calm no matter what's going on around us. If you grew up in unsafe environments, unclean environments, and unpredictable individuals, this can also play a role in the distortion. About imbalances in the energy centers. The imbalances can go one of two ways. They can be excessive or overactive, or they're deficient and underactive. When we have an imbalance, we have different manifestations of the soulful energy that needs to be healed. And this is how it will show up in your physical reality. Now, this is not a comprehensive list, but it is a rather in-depth list of all of the programs, the indoctrinations, the way that the root chakra is distorted. But these are the list of the overactive or excessive. A sense of feeling stuck in this life could be physically, mentally, or spiritually. You just feel very stuck, feeling heavy, weighed down, sluggish, or overburdened all of the time. Being overweight, obese, overeating, binge eating. Hoarding behaviors. You have very black and white thinking. There's no room for any gray area in between. It's this or it's that. That is an overactive or excessive root chakra. Addictive behaviors and addictions. Yes, addictions fall under this. And we have to think about addictions in a new way. I don't like to look at addiction like a disease. It's a cure or a band-aid to soothe the psychological suffering of the individual. It's really more of a band-aid than it is a disease. Getting down and balancing and doing the shadow work within the root chakra is the way to cure those addictions, to get yourself healthy again, right? Because now you're no longer holding all of the stored energy. It's able to flow out and you're able to receive as well. So some other signs or manifestations of a imbalanced excessive root chakra would be diarrhea, depression, obsession with physical security, fear of change, very rigid in routine. There's no give or take within that routine. This is how it is. You get very anxious, again, triggering that root chakra fight or flight, freeze or fawn response. Obsessive compulsive disorder. You're attached to things very much in this physical world, placing so much importance on material possessions and wealth. You're really unable to enjoy the life that you've created and the wealth that you've earned out of fear of losing it. So it's like that more, never enough mentality. Greed, money, physical items mean more than people, experiences, and memories. Laziness, extreme fatigue, feeling anxious, nervous, or paranoid. Overly excessive or dominant in behaviors. Seeking adrenaline constantly. Athlete's foot, bipolar disorder. Now, with some of these, there are multiple symptoms or chakra centers that are affected by one particular thing. Like the bipolar, that's going to affect the crown and the solar plexus as well as the root chakra. So you would have an imbalance in 3 of those. High blood pressure, colitis, Crohn's disease can also affect the solar plexus, and the high blood pressure, of course, also affects the heart chakra. Eczema, edema, gallstones, which also affects the solar plexus, gout, hives, kidney stones, sciatica, shingles, sleep apnea, and the development of anxious attachment style. Signs and symptoms of an underactive or deficient root chakra are listed below, but not limited to. Feeling disconnected from life, self, friends, family, really feeling distant and kind of reclusive. Being spacey, feeling tired, overwhelmed, exhausted, and isolated. Rapid weight loss or underweight. Trouble setting boundaries. Trouble with self-discipline. Disorganized, in a constant state of fear. Craving constant change, yet nothing feels satisfying, even if you've changed it a million times. It's just a constant moving the goalpost, moving the goalpost, moving the goalpost, but never a satisfaction. Restlessness, being extremely ungrounded. Avoidant attachment style. Extremely hard time holding a job, making any type of commitment, and unable to obtain healthy relationships. Escapism, anemia, anorexia, arthritis, low blood pressure, constipation, hemorrhoids, and scoliosis. If you have any others, please leave them in the comments, as this is a community to help us grow, learn, and bridge the gap. It should be noted that you can have several types of energetic imbalances or blockages. Some are physical, meaning you have some sort of a surgery or illness in that particular area. So that would be a physical blockage. You have mental blockages, emotional blockages, types of blockages. Some are karmatic in nature, meaning here goes back with that ruler of past lives. That energy needs to be healed in order to grow and evolve into higher levels of consciousness. So it'll manifest as an imbalance in that root chakra. About what a balanced chakra should feel like. So when our energy center of the root is balanced, we are able to eliminate any people, places, thought patterns, behaviors, emotions that no longer align with our authentic self. It's easy to walk away because we honor the space within us that knows that that doesn't serve our highest good. We feel safe and fully present in the moment. We relate to others in healthy ways and have healthy relationships and are in good health because the root chakra energy does affect the immune system. So if you notice yourself not getting sick and you're getting off medications that you've been on, that's a good indication that that root chakra energy is balancing itself out, and keep doing what you're doing. Your earthly needs are provided for, and it's easier for you to feel safe and comfortable within your own skin. You're not trying to be someone else. You're not trying to appease the masses. You understand that if people like you, they like you, and that's beautiful. Hopefully you can connect on a deeper level. But if they don't, that's simply their preference and no personal attack on you or the type of person you are. Plus, you don't need people in your life who throw judgments on you, for that is a very dense energy to move through. But by the time we get finished with this chakra series, you will be emotionally attuned to really dig deeper and be brave enough to take your plant, which is you, pull it up, for expose all of the stuff that's been hidden, and be able to cut those thought patterns that no longer serve you, those belief systems that no longer serve you, the things that have been holding you back from stepping into your greatest, highest self. It's not saying that when your root chakra is balanced that your life is just going to be perfect. You're never going to have any hard times or obstacles or dense illusions. uh, that is just delusional, because life does happen. But with life happening, you're going to have that emotional intelligence, the tools and skills needed to maintain that inner peace no matter what's going on around you. And that is precious. That is vitality, and that is preserving your life force energy and really staying in balance, going with the wave instead of against it. So, through this video, you may have realized that you have an imbalance within your chakra system. And that's fine. Our energy fluctuates from time to time. In fact, some days your energy can fluctuate between high and low emotions hundreds of thousands of times a day. But in order to not get stuck, we need tools. And the beauty of spirituality and discovering yourself is through exploration. So I'm going to give you several ways to balance your root chakra. First and foremost is to go stand outside barefoot. I know, as cliche as that sounds, it really does something to you to just take a moment and feel the grass in between your toes. Feel the warmth of the sun. Feel the chirping of the bird, or hear the chirping of the birds and the rattling of the leaves as the wind blows. It really gets you present and here in that moment, right? And when you're here in that moment, then you can regulate yourself into that flow of Gaia, of Earth. You can also use sound bowls. Sound bowls are beautiful. Any kind of frequency healing devices, tuning forks, steel drums. Um, Music is a great way to balance, especially with music without words. You really want the vibrations, the sounds. Again, it's about getting yourself back in that flow state, about regulating that nervous system so you can get out of survival mode and you can get into creating and thriving, which is our next energy center. For those who have a lot of physical ailments, I highly, highly, highly recommend movement, whether that's qigong, yoga, going to the gym, um, and also some sort of holistic help, to help really move those energies, and relieve some of that so you can get balance within that energy center. Um, Reiki is a great practice, or any type of quantum healing would be greatly beneficial, especially to those with physical ailments. A lot of my nervous system regulation happened during the time that I slept. So I would play healing frequencies throughout the night. So it would be the full solfeggio frequency would play for the duration of the time that I was speaking. And what that helped me do was regulate during sleep. So my atoms, my cells knew how to do it when I was triggered during the day. And you wouldn't believe just how much the subconscious picks up while we're in a state of rest and sleep. Because essentially that's when we recharge. So we're recharging with that sound frequency playing. It's sending that signal to all of your cells, all of your atoms to start working to recharge. And then again, in the conscious world, the subconscious knows how to deal with it and move through it faster. Crystals are a beautiful tool. I love, love, love them. They are our friends. They are here to help provide love, support, and nurturing and protection. Although most people get their crystals and they don't cleanse them. They don't put intentions in them. They don't give them a job. And our crystals are here to work for us. So let's give them a job. Let's practice that spiritual hygiene. And that would be my next one, is spiritual hygiene. Making sure you're taking time to meditate, to ground, to get in your movement and your physical activity, that you're feeding your body food and not processed poison. Those little things are free medicine, and they're there to help us. It's readily available for most people to just, do a 5-10 minutes of physical activity 3 times a day. Affirmations are a beautiful way to reprogram the subconscious mind. Here's a little trick and tip that I use for effectively changing the frequency when we speak an affirmation. So when we say an affirmation, we need to say it, and we need to say it loudly, proudly, and from our chest. Say it until you believe it, until you mean it, until your body feels a reaction to you saying it. Whether you get the goosebumps, you get some sort of soul recognition. At that point, that is when the energy changes. Say it again, repeat it throughout the day, put it on your phone, so every time you grab your phone, you see your affirmation. So you're reprogramming that subconscious mind. This is how vision boards work. This is how the great become greater. This is how the novice becomes masters. We have to, it's in the routine, and it's in how we take care of ourselves, how we keep ourselves and our cortisol levels down, because we don't need that stress hormone surging. It blocks our creativity. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of the Root Chakra. Next week, we are tapping into that sacred, sensual, creative hub known as the sacral chakra. I'll see you next time. Love you. Have a beautiful day on purpose, and live and love out loud.